Hi all, Dr. Julie here. Wanted to give you a little bit of a question answer on periods for all you young ladies out there who are going to be starting your period soon. Maybe this is a little scary, maybe you don't know exactly what to expect. So we're going to give you a little primer on what is going on exactly with your body. So first question, a lot of young ladies ask me, what exactly is going on with a period? What does this mean? So it's pretty easy to understand it when you have sort of the basics down. In your body, down near your hips and even inside your body, there are these two little things called ovaries. And ovaries look like a tiny little almond. They're pretty tiny. And really what they are is basically an egg basket. Yeah, you have an egg basket inside on either side of your body. And this egg basket basically produces a whole bunch of chemicals. These are called hormones. And the chemicals they produce are something called estrogen. That's a big fancy word, but you can call it E. And something called progesterone. You can call that P. And when you get to be around 9, 10, 11, your ovaries start producing lots and lots of these hormones and chemicals. So next to your ovaries inside your body, there is a big old muscle. It looks like a pear or like an avocado. It's kind of that funny pear shape. And that thing is called your uterus. Basically, the uterus is like a big muscle, and it's almost like a house. That's where a baby would sit if you're going to have a baby. That's where the baby grows. So if you can think about inside this big muscle that looks like a pear, and inside it, it's almost like a house, and it's lined with these fluffy carpets. Super fluffy carpets. Why wouldn't you have fluffy carpets in your house? So you have these little egg baskets inside your body, and they're producing these hormones, these chemicals, E and P. And when there's lots of estrogen and progesterone, E and P, floating around your body, the carpets inside this uterus get really fluffy. And don't forget, remember we said that those little ovaries, those little egg baskets, have eggs in them. And so once a month, they release one of those little eggs. They let one go, and it gets into your uterus through these little tubes. And so now it's in your uterus house, and it gets all snuggly inside the fluffy carpets, and it's kind of waiting. And it waits to meet a friend, and that friend is called sperm. You can call him S. And if S doesn't show up, that little egg that's nestled inside those carpets decides, okay, we gotta change the carpets out. So the carpets are switched out, that lining inside your uterus house comes out, and that's what you see. That's what a period is. It's basically the lining of your uterus. It's mixed and it looks like kind of bloody, kind of jello-y, and that comes out. And that's really just the lining, the fuzzy lining, the carpets inside your uterus house coming out. And that's what it is. So just to kind of make sure that's in there in your head. So there are two little egg baskets called ovaries that are in your body. They produce hormones. Those hormones, as they get more and more, they release a little egg. That egg goes through a tube and sits in your uterus, which is shaped like a pear. And inside your uterus, there's these fluffy carpets lining all over the uterus. And that little egg sits in there. And if the egg doesn't meet sperm or S, then we switch out all the carpets. And all that fluffiness of the lining inside your uterus comes out. And that's what you see when you have your period. It's pretty amazing. Your body does all these absolutely fantastic, wonderful events that You don't even have to think about it, it just happens. Next question that I usually get is, when is this all gonna happen? So your body may be different than your friend's body, and maybe different than even your sister's body or your mom's body. But most of the time, between 11 and 14 years old is when you can usually expect that you might start having a period. Your doctor or your mom can usually give you a better idea based on other signs that you're experiencing, like when you start needing to use a training bra or a bra, usually about kind of 2 years away from having a period, but between 11 and 14. So next question, how long can you expect to bleed for? You may be already kind of nervous about that. How long is this like whole shedding of carpets gonna go on for? So your periods will usually last around 5 days. It could be a little longer or a little shorter, but usually between 3 and 7 days is pretty normal. And most girls will use about 3 to 6 pads or tampons during each day that they're having their bleeding. Now that might sound like a lot. You might be a little worried that, wow, that sounds like a lot of blood coming out, and I'm not sure if I'm scared, but I'm here to tell you that even though it looks like a lot, it's actually just a few tablespoons. Okay, those carpet linings, when they come out, usually come out just as a few tablespoons. So if you go look at a spoon in your kitchen and you just add up kind of 3 spoons, that's about what it is. So next question, will I have bleeding forever? The answer is no, it's not gonna happen forever. The first up to even 3 years after you start, your periods can be irregular, meaning that they don't come every month, and that's okay. But eventually you should have bleeding about every month. And this is gonna last until you're probably around age 50. 50 is a long time from now, but probably until you're age 50. And that's when your body's gonna go through some other changes, and those are called menopause. So you don't have to worry about that just yet, but when you get to menopause, basically your periods stop because your ovaries stop making estrogen and progesterone, or E and P. So that's kind of a little bit about periods, but I know you're wondering about, what do I do? How do I get ready for this thing? First thing you have to do is relax. And it's super normal to be nervous. It's super normal to be kind of worried about how this whole period thing happens. But getting your period is a really normal, natural part of growing up as a woman. And there's absolutely no reason to be embarrassed or scared about it. And it's kind of exciting. It's a big change in your body, and change can be really exciting.